What's up, everybody? Welcome to the lab. I'm your host, Joshua Diaz. Kind of a later start than normal. Tomorrow's live will be a little earlier. And Chris McDonough of the interview room will be on tomorrow to discuss the case. So we will be able to get in some questions. I have some questions, and so, but yeah, we're a little later tonight, and I had a like a I don't know, like a dinner. I had to go to a dinner. It was like I don't know the right adjective for it, but there was a lot of people. And if you know anything about me, you understand that public dining at people's homes is not my forte, but sometimes you have to bite the bullet, and that's sort of what I did. It was all right. I mean, it was fine, But everybody wants you to hold their baby, and they're like, "Oh, look, and it's like I don't want to get I don't want to get sick, I don't like I just like kids that have snotty noses and all that kind of stuff, I don't I did not wear a three-piece, no. No, I didn't wear the Christmas hat. No, I didn't wear anything cool. I didn't do it. I was very like, you know, and every time I do it, I go, oh man, like when I leave, I go, do I have a tickle? Is there a tickle in my throat? Well, that was the thing is it was kind of a weird setup because it was hamburgers, or as our friends south of the border call it, hamburguesas. And so mayo was optional. And so I don't know. It was good. It was just like then I worry like, oh, is the food cooked enough? And so anyway, well, look, my kids are my kids, other people's kids are other people's kids, but they're just always snotty and stuff. I don't know. I mean, I love kids. I think they're great. They're fun, It's just I just like all of my friends that have young children are constantly getting sick, constantly getting. It's just like, oh, God, you know. Yeah, exactly. And then there's hugs. Everybody, Bab says, Josh, I'm the same way. We had my brother's funeral today. Well, look, that's a little different. Like you're going to get hugs at a funeral. It's just that's just going to happen. But, uh, So many people hugging me and kids wanting to hug. I know, but that's one that you really can't avoid. But I, it was just a lot of touching and hugging and somebody's somebody's dog just came up and sat on my lap. Yeah, you know what? That's what I was trying to do. That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to go nuts. Boohoo, Josh got a free meal and lots of hugs. Even I didn't even think about I'm not interested in a free meal. I'm not interested in a free meal. That wasn't even part of the, you know, whatever. I shouldn't even share this stuff. I should just keep it all to myself, keep it bottled in, and oh, I got a free meal. Well, I wasn't thinking about that. I can feed myself most of the time. So, but thanks, Mountain Cat. Boo-hoo. No, it's not that I didn't appreciate the meal. The meal was fine. It wasn't like I went, "Oh my god, I'm gonna get a free meal in exchange for germs." That was really not what went through my mind. Yeah. I did have a dog in my lap. The pet was fine. It was fine. It's just it's possible. I mean, it's possible. I mean, I guess that's sort of what happens is when you live your life on the air. Yeah. Yeah. Hey guys, everybody, thank you for inviting me. Had a great time. No, it wasn't a black poodle. It was a English bulldog. He smelled, but he was very cute. Very, very cute. Yeah, I mean, look, yeah, they could be watching. I I used him as like a poison sniffer. You know how they use this whatever this what do they call that? The signal sniffer? I made him check out the food. It wasn't catered. You know, I didn't get chased today by a wild dude. But anyway. So anyway, that was I, that's my tardiness, I guess. That's why I'm on a little bit later than even normal for me. Let's see. Redondon Beach 7514. Thank you for becoming a member of the Lab Rat Army. Oh my God, what the hell? All right, we're off to a bad start. All right, anyway, so I haven't kept up much today, a bits here and there. And so I guess we'll dive in, see where it goes. And try working the nursery at a church. No. I mean, that's just not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen, man. What? But what were the drinks tonight? I drank water. I have coffee right now, but I drank water. Eric says, so are we now at Eric is 100% wrong on she was taken to Mexico thing? No. No, you're not 100% wrong. Not at all. I don't think. Good morning, Josh. From Ann and Daniel in Oxford, UK. We appreciate what you do, fella. Always a gentleman. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I do appreciate you. And thank you for saying that. Did you see Brian goes to Mexico today? I haven't. I haven't. I've unfortunately been uh, avoiding sickness. And I don't even know if I did it. But one thing that I did, I read this, and sort of this is sort of the lead into what we're going to talk about tonight, is that even though they're checking now in Mexico for Miss Nancy Guthrie, Mexican authorities are saying that there has been no exchange. Screen sharing was canceled. Oh my God. That there has been no exchange of information or formal requests to exchange information in regards to the Nancy Guthrie abduction, which is not exactly what the FBI said, and hopefully that will get covered at some point. We'll come across it. So who knows? Any thoughts on Savannah's retell of cousin kidnapping pretend as kids? Anytime I have thoughts about something, I get destroyed. So no, I don't. I mean, it's odd, but I don't think, I mean, I don't think that it really factors in, but you know, this case itself is just so strange. I mean, it's unlike any case that I've ever paid attention to or looked at. Yeah, ironic might be the right word. Yeah. Did Harvey write himself a new note today? No, not that I know of. Not today. No new note. Is it an abduction if you move a body? No, but I think like the legal definition of kidnapping is, what is it? Is like if you move somebody more than like 3 feet in any direction against their will. I mean, I don't know if that's I mean that's my definition of kidnapping. I thought Brian would buy a street taco, but he didn't. I mean, when in Rome, Brian, when in Rome, you know. I yeah, street taco. All right, here we go. Let's see what craziness they're talking about today.
Now to day 19 in the anguish search for Nancy.
Day 19. Good Lord. How did we get here? How did we get to day 19? I don't think he's I don't think they're in Mexico, but
Guthrie, which now appears like.
But guess what? Nobody knows where the frig she is. So I guess everything's still on the table. Everything's still on the table, folks. Hey, what happened?
$100,000, boosting the reward to see. Now to day 19 in the anguish search for Nancy Guthrie, which now appears likely to see a day 20. And who knows how many more. The big headline today, the reward money nearly doubling tonight. An anonymous donor pitched in $100,000, boosting the reward to more than $200,000 total for any information.
I like do rewards work? I mean, I don't think they do. I've paid attention to a lot of cases over the years. Very rarely, if ever, do I remember a reward ever being paid out.
Information leading to an arrest in this case. A touching act of generosity, to be sure, but also a troubling sign of desperation. It comes amid conflicting reports about the widening investigation into Mexico. Sources tell News Nation that the FBI has reached out to Mexican authorities to expand the geographic search.
But so they're saying that, but I'm telling you that I think it's like the attorney general of I I'm not sure which the bordering town in Mexico. They said that there's been no formal requests
for the missing 84-year-old south of the border. But local Mexican authorities are telling a different story. The Attorney General of the state of Sonora, which borders.
Very good. All right, here we go. This is what I wanted to hear first. And do I think there's a reason that Savannah hasn't donated? Well, I mean, she said that she would pay. She said she would pay the ransom, but who knows? I mean, who knows if
$100,000.
No, I don't think there's a reason for it. I just don't think they work, and I don't think that that's really what she's looking for. I don't think that's what she's looking to do. I think she just wants her mother found, and so the grid search. I have no idea.
Total for any information leading to an arrest in this case. A touching act of generosity, to be sure, but also a troubling sign of.
Josh, we appreciate your son is studying towards the A-level psychology post bereavement. You and Dr. Gary are unwittingly part of his A-level project. We're grateful and amazed, more than you know. It's very kind of you. Bereavement. That's awesome. It's a great word, too.
Desperation. It comes amid conflicting reports about.
Tell your son I said hello.
The widening investigation into Mexico. Sources tell News Nation that the FBI has reached out to Mexican authorities to expand the geographic search for the missing 84-year-old south of the border. But local Mexican authorities are telling a different story. The Attorney General of the state of Sonora, which borders Mexico, Arizona, released a statement today saying they have not received any formal request for collaboration, assistance, or exchange of information from U.S. authorities or Mexican federal agencies about this case. The Attorney General added that if an official request was received, it will be attended to with full willingness.
So this is the stuff that just really chaps my ass in that there's nothing concise. There's nothing straightforward. You did or you didn't. You talk to somebody on the phone or you ask them to help. If you want them to help, then just ask them to help, right? I mean, that should be pretty simple. If you think, it sounds like they don't think that she's in Mexico. Maybe that's, but they're reaching out to Mexican authorities or sort of, but this is the stuff that drives me nuts about cases like this. In general, nothing is ever straightforward. Nothing. And in this case specifically, a chap does.
He also said that the office reached out to the FBI, which said there is no indication that Guthrie could be in Mexico.
All right.
That is the view as well of Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos. But the sheer proximity of Nancy Guthrie's home to the Mexican border raises questions. This map shows her Tucson home in the Catalina foothills is just 75 miles or an hour-and-a-half drive from the border crossing at Nogales. While U.S. authorities do conduct strict checks on people coming into our country, it is very easy to travel south into Mexico without being stopped. And not everyone crosses right at the.
I don't think that they lied about it. I think that they just, it wasn't, I don't know. Maybe they did lie about it, but you would think that maybe they're just saying that they didn't get an official request, but maybe they talked to somebody on the phone. Hey, this is so-and-so at the FBI. Is Julio there? And Julio's like, ¿Qué pasa? He said, hey, what's up? Have you heard about Nancy Guthrie? And he said, ¿Dónde? No. All right, have a good day.
Official checkpoints. This map shows about 100-mile stretch with no border wall at all. Our own Brian Enton ventured south of the border today, entering at an official crossing in Nogales. Brian joins us now. What did you find, Brian, after spending the day in Nogales? Did anybody there, had they heard of this case?
Most people had not, Elizabeth, which was sort of shocking considering this is the biggest story in our country for the most part right now. But once you went into Mexico, right on the other side of the border wall, people seem to have no idea who Nancy Guthrie was. And you mentioned, I mean, you can walk right in. No one even asks you a question. No one asks to see your ID. You walk or you drive right into Mexico, which makes you think how easy it would be for someone to take someone like Nancy into Mexico. Only an hour and a half drive from here. I want to show you what people told us. And we also took you to a pharmacy, Elizabeth, because, you know, there's been so many questions about Nancy getting her medication. Could someone get her medication? In Mexico, the answer is yes, because you don't need a prescription for most heart medicines. This is what we saw.
¿Escuchado usted el caso de la señora Nancy Guthrie que la secuestraron o está perdida en Tucson?
No. This is the picture here.
He said that he's not aware of the case of Nancy's. No.
Has she ever heard of it?
No.
Never heard of it?
No. Nunca han visto caso. Nunca he escuchado nada.
No, nada.
Do you know how many kidnappings for ransom happen in Mexico all the time? You think that they're going to know about this? Really? They got their own issues. It's not like Mexico's thriving economy, and no, they're not going to know about it.
Las cámaras están grabando todo. Están grabando todo. He's saying that the cameras are recording everything 24/7. Okay. Whenever you come in or whenever you go out, it doesn't matter that they don't ask for information about you, but there's video.
They'll see it. Yeah. Okay. So we've seen a ton of pharmacies since we came in. There's a big one here. Yeah. So you can get pretty much anything.
I mean, they still have controlled medicine or drugs, but like antibiotics or some other stuff that you can get without prescription in the States, you can get it here. Hay algunos que los puedes conseguir sin receta aquí en México que no se necesita por ley. You can find some medicines here without prescription that you require prescription there. Talking specifically about the heart medicine, it all depends what substance is. It may be controlled here, it may not. So maybe you get good chances of getting whatever medicine you need here.
With no prescription.
With no prescription.
Has he heard of the case?
No, he has not heard of it.
He hadn't recognized the photo. So most people had not heard of the case, Elizabeth. There is a missing persons group in Sonoma, a group of women that are now helping to search for Nancy Guthrie, and they actually have flyers that they are now distributing. And what that one man, the point that he made about the cameras, even though you can walk into Mexico, there are a ton of cameras that record the people walking in, and there's the flyer, the people walking in and the cars going in. So if they had a vehicle description, they could hypothetically.
I used to get inhalers from Mexico, because you can just walk into a pharmacy and buy an inhaler. And you can actually do that in many other countries, because albuterol isn't exactly a controlled substance. It's sort of like a necessity. And for some reason, America has extremely high standards on getting an inhaler. I know in Australia you can get an inhaler. I know in a lot of different places you can just go up to a pharmacist and say, "Hey, can I get one of those?"
Go back and review camera footage and try to find the vehicle that way. Elizabeth?
Wow. All right. Brian Enton reporting live from Tucson outside Nancy Guthrie's home.
Thank you for watching.
Oh, geez. Every day that they don't change this, they disappoint us even more. Guthrie search, new note DNA testing. Let's see. Are these the same stories?
See, Guthrie, it fits seemingly a pattern here, as seemingly every day or close to it, we get a
Fredo.
different story from authorities, depending on who you hear from. So our Brian Enton went.
Thank you for liking. Let me see. What do we have here? What do we in the likes department? All right, 132. That won't do. Please hit that like button.
To see for himself, crossing into Mexico and just returning back. What, if anything, do they know about the case there? Brian is back from Tucson with us live as we kick it off tonight here on the Hill. Brian, so you went south of the border, returned on back. Who'd you speak to? What'd you find?
Yeah, you know, there's been.
It would be so great if Brian was just wearing a sombrero and a poncho. Well, you know, we didn't really find much, but I found this really cool hat.
Some mixed messaging, Blake, from authorities when it comes to the Mexico connection. Yesterday, we had FBI sources telling us and confirming that the FBI has been having conversations with Mexican
Hey, ¿qué pasa?
authorities. Today, Mexican authorities said, yes, those conversations have happened, but there's no evidence right now that Nancy is in Mexico. But you can't ignore, Blake, how close Mexico is to where Nancy lives. I mean, it takes like an hour to get there, and you can just, I mean, people don't realize this. You can just drive right in. No one even asks you any questions. You can walk right in. It's not like coming.
It's Mexico is not like the end all be. It's not like an oasis that you want to go and hang out in. Like, my dad was born in Mexico City. It's not a great place. I'm not saying that that's Cancun is an outlier. Okay, it's a resort
Into the U.S. where you get stopped. So it would be very, very.
They don't give a crap if you could go there. They give a crap when you leave there and try to come into America. That's the issue.
Easy for someone to take Nancy into Mexico and for no one to even notice. Granted, there are a lot of cameras. What was interesting, though, Blake, is almost everyone we talked to had no idea who Nancy Guthrie was, despite us being right on the other side of the border. It's like the biggest story in the world, in the United States. But right when you cross the border, most people didn't even know about the Nancy Guthrie story. Listen to what some of the people told us, Blake.
La secuestraron o está perdida.
We saw this, didn't we? Is it gonna? He's not gonna talk about the farm.
In Tucson. No.
This is the picture here.
He said that he's not aware of the case of Nancy.
Has she ever heard of it? No, never heard of it? No.
No, nada.
So you saw there, most of the people we talked to hadn't heard of the case. Some had seen it on social media. But what was interesting is many people kept pointing out the cameras. Even though you can drive right into Mexico and the Mexican authorities don't stop you, there are a ton of cameras. So you would imagine if they can get a vehicle description and they believe that that vehicle may have gone into Mexico, they could go back and review the camera footage, and that could prove to be very, very helpful, Blake.
Brian, I'm in our here at News Nation because a new update
By the way, at my dinner that I went to, it was the topic of conversation for like 30 minutes. I didn't even bring it up.
It literally was just dropped into it. And this comes from the Pima County Sheriff's Office. If you want to follow with me here, they say it remains an active investigation as long as leads continue to come in. Investigators will continue to follow up on them. Currently, several hundred personnel are assigned to this case from various law enforcement agencies and are actively reviewing thousands of leads. They say lab analysis continues on biological evidence found at the residence. To be clear, this is not new or different evidence from what was already recovered from the property. No further information at this time. That just coming in, Brian.
Yeah, so sort of more of the same. I mean, there's continue to investigate leads. What they said about the DNA evidence in the house is somewhat interesting to me because that to me is going to be one of the most important factors here. I mean, the glove, it seems like they've basically ruled out, but there is the stranger's DNA inside the house, and that's what we know they have started the genetic genealogy testing on. You know.
Okay, so the DNA, the mix or whatever kind of DNA was in the house, so they have that DNA back, but there was no hit in CODIS, or there wasn't enough markers for CODIS, or was it put into the Arizona database? I don't think that have they said that yet? Have they specifically brought that up? I don't think that they have.
like kind of like what they did with Koberger. So that could end up really being huge here, but that's going to take time. That kind of testing, it can take weeks.
There wasn't a hit on the glove for CODIS, but the DNA in the house, was that put into CODIS?
Sometimes it can even take months.
Thank you for watching.
Oh my God, dude. Somebody in the comments yesterday they said, I wish you wouldn't go after Cuomo. I never went after Fredo. I don't have a problem with him. All right, we'll do this one, and then we'll watch Brian's trip to haters gonna hate, bro. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Sam. Thank you.
We are learning more as well about the high-tech potential answer to the question of who is in Nancy Guthrie's house as days of searching have turned into weeks. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime.
No.
I'm Chris Stewart. Hey guys, thanks so much for following this case with us. We are able to bring you this story because of our incredible partner, Morgan & Morgan. There is a reason. Check out Morgan. I don't know if you feel this way, where it just feels like investigators are getting so close. And the closure in this case that so many people want for the Guthrie family, that it could be coming. But then there's moments where there are pieces of this investigation that you learn that really worry you, that law enforcement may have a ways to go. Today, the FBI announced it's received nearly 20,000 tips since Nancy Guthrie went missing on February 1st. The Pima County Sheriff, in an interview with NBC News, said in total, between the FBI and the Pima County Sheriff, they have received roughly 50,000 tips. That is a lot of information to work through. Yeah. And now we're hearing from a man.
You know why they got 50,000 tips? Because the sheriff said, if you have a dream about alien abduction, call them. That's why they have 50,000 tips. If I was the sheriff, I'd say, if you have a dream about alien abduction, do not call me with a tip.
Who was detained in the raid on his house roughly a week ago. This was the person who was pulled over in a traffic stop in Tucson near a Culver's. He wasn't arrested. He was detained, questioned, and released, but now he's releasing a statement through his attorney. He's a 37-year-old man. He was detained when law enforcement served those two federally approved search warrants, one of them during that traffic stop when they pulled him over in a Range Rover, and the other one took place at his home where he lives with his 77-year-old mom. And the address for this person, it is to a home that's worth roughly $1 million. It is in a very nice neighborhood about 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's house. An Arizona law firm released a statement to 12 News in Phoenix, identifying their client by name as Luke Daly. The law firm says it can confirm that Luke Daly was the subject of 2 search warrants issued and served on February 13th, 2026. Mr. Daly and his mother were both detained by law enforcement while the search warrants were being executed. Neither Mr. Daly or any other. Mr. Daly has no link whatsoever to Nancy Guthrie and has no information related to her kidnapping. Like the entire Tucson community, both Mr. Daly and his mother are hopeful that Nancy will be returned to her family unharmed. Now, the man was detained. He was released. This was on the night of the 13th when a SWAT team went into his home. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos.
It's a weird uniform.
Who recently put out.
He should be wearing a tie. I mean, don't you think? He should wear a tie.
A statement that cleared the Guthrie family of their involvement, though the FBI won't comment on that, as well as a statement that cleared the spouses of the Guthrie family. But Nanos had this to say when he was asked about Daly, who he actually referred to as a person of interest. And the question was whether he had been cleared in this case. Nanos told 12 News, quote, per our court order, we had to search the homes. Those homes, people are inside them, family, friends, whatever. We can't have them there. While we search, are they being detained? Of course not. They're free to leave, but they can't be in the home. We knew we were looking for one person at that home, and the other person we're looking for is Nancy. Nancy wasn't there. The person of interest gave us a statement, gave us his whatever the warrant was for, maybe petition for physical characteristics of buccal swabs or photos or finger. We got everything we needed, and he is set free now. Does that mean he's not a suspect any longer? No. We'll do our work. We've got evidence to process from the home. What if we find Nancy's DNA?
What is it? I mean, what? This is such a weird statement.
In that home, right? Now, again, that was an answer in a one-on-one interview with 12 News, and the sheriff, of course, speaking very conversationally there. It is unclear if any DNA was everything we needed. Sticks of interest. News quote per our court
order, we had to search the homes. Those homes, people are inside them, family, friends, whatever. We can't have them there while we search. Are they being detained? Of course not. They're free to leave. Where are they going to go? But they can't be in the home. We knew we were looking for one person at that home, and the other, we knew we were looking for one person at that home, and the other person we're looking for is Nancy. Nancy wasn't there. The person of interest gave us a statement, gave us his whatever the warrants was for, maybe petition for physical characteristics of buccal swabs or photos or finger. We got everything we needed, and he is set free. Does that mean he is not a suspect any longer? No. We'll do our work. We've got evidence to process from the home. What if Nancy's DNA is in that home?
Physical characteristics of buccal swabs or photos or finger evidence. Now, again, that was an answer in a one-on-one interview with 12 News, and the sheriff, of course, speaking very conversationally there. It is unclear if any DNA was found inside the home of Daly. But again,
he's a scholar.
Again, his law firm, his lawyer, releasing that statement saying that he has nothing to do, has no knowledge of what happened to Nancy Guthrie. Now, you can obviously, though, read that in a lot of different ways. We do know that this week law enforcement has been going to gun stores in the Tucson area. They've reportedly had a list of names and pictures, asking if any of the people on that list look familiar to the owners as customers from over the last year. We're also still waiting to hear on whether a DNA sample found inside Nancy's house could be the smoking gun that we are hoping for. We don't know what that sample is, but we do know it did not match Nancy. It did not match her family or people close to her. When it was put into CODIS, the FBI's database of people who have been arrested or convicted in previous cases, it didn't match. But that doesn't mean that the DNA is worthless, because CODIS actually only has about a 4 to 6% group of the population in that database. Now, the Pima County Sheriff says that investigators are now using what's called genetic genealogy to try and identify the DNA sample that they have from Nancy's house. We talked about one of the cases yesterday where we have seen that technology work in solving cases that may be at risk of going cold. It is the process of taking a DNA sample and then identifying the person based off their ancestry and matching it up with people in their family tree. They go into databases like 23andMe and they see if they can find any characteristics that maybe a third or fourth cousin might have. And again, it has been very successful in a lot of cases. Now, this is the arrest video of a man named Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez. This is a case that is unrelated to Nancy Guthrie, but genetic genealogy was able to help solve it. Martinez Hernandez is a murderer. In August of 2023, he raped and killed a woman named Rachel Morin in Maryland. Morin was a 37-year-old mom of 5, and she was just out for a jog on a trail. Martinez Hernandez was in the United States illegally. He fled his native El Salvador after a warrant was issued for his arrest for murder there. When law enforcement put the DNA sample from the murder scene in Maryland into CODIS, there was no match. So you see the similarity there to the Guthrie case. Martinez Hernandez was not in CODIS because he didn't have a criminal record in the United States at that point. But genetic genealogy helped them look at ancestry markers, and they built out a family tree, and eventually they were able to track him down, and they found him 10 months after Rachel Morin's murder outside a bar in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Martinez Hernandez is serving life in prison without the possibility of parole. Now, another major case where genetic genealogy brought a case to a conclusion was the infamous Golden State Killer. In fact, this is kind of the case that put the method in the public sphere. California law enforcement had dozens of rapes and more than a dozen murders that went unsolved for decades.
Remember when this guy, remember when he went to trial and he was all frail and he's like, I'm dying. He's still alive. This crypt keeper pervert pile of dog crap is still alive. And he was like, I need a wheelchair. I need a it's just like, shut up, dude.
From the 70s.
He's still alive.
In the 80s, but they did hold on to DNA samples.
Why can't he just croak already?
When they were in CODIS, didn't hit. As genetic genealogy,
oh, look at him, all frail.
Came available, law enforcement compared their samples to the samples in GED Match, which is a public DNA platform that people use to build out their family trees. They didn't get a direct match to their suspect, but they found distant cousins of the man they would eventually arrest, and they were able to identify Joseph D'Angelo. He's a former police officer, and he is the Golden State Killer. He was arrested in 2018. He is now 80 years old. He's still alive, and he's serving 13 consecutive life.
Probably doing push-ups in the yard. He's fine. I need a wheelchair. Shut up.
Sentences. Law enforcement say he committed dozens of rapes, but because of the statute of limitation rules in California, he could not.
I'm not even kidding. I would, if he had a cane, I'd kick it out from underneath him. I wouldn't even care.
Not be tried for those rapes. Now, turning back to the Nancy Guthrie investigation, of course, this case very different from the two we were just talking about. We don't know where Nancy Guthrie is. The truth is, we don't know if she is still alive. But the fact that law enforcement have a sample from her home that doesn't belong to her, doesn't belong to her family, it could be the clue that cracks this case. Now, the sheriff has also gone on record saying that he believes the person who is seen on the front steps of Nancy Guthrie's house, they may not be the only person involved in this. He says they are not ruling out the possibility.
Yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think that this guy at the front door is the only one involved? I personally, and I'm, it's up however you feel. I do not think that this, I don't even think that this is the main guy for some reason. I don't get that feeling. Mostly because he seems like an idiot. I think that there's somebody smarter sort of that has engineered this. I don't think this is the main guy. I think this is the secondary guy.
Of there being more than one,
or the third or the fourth or the,
one person, an accomplice in this case. It is unclear if law enforcement has more video than the images that they put out of that masked person armed with a gun on the front steps of Nancy's house. The sheriff says that he believes, though, that this crime was targeted, that the bad guy or guys knew who they were after. The sheriff in an interview called that a hunch. Now, another topic that has come up is the question of whether Nancy could be in Mexico. Now, you can get to the border pretty quickly from her house, less than 2 hours driving directly south. And this is what the border crossing looks like that is closest to Tucson. It's in Nogales, Arizona, and you can cross over into Nogales, Sonora, Mexico. A big wall there, You probably have seen this before because it's often used during political season as a backdrop for campaign speeches on immigration. It's also a very easy drive when you are going from the United States into Mexico. They really don't stop you, but it's important to note there are a ton of cameras at that border crossing watching every single vehicle that crosses into Mexico. Now, there are options outside of the area where there is that big wall where you could theoretically walk across the border into Mexico, but the terrain is very tough. It's very desert-like. It's not flat. And you have to wonder just how likely it would be that a kidnapper, if they had Nancy Guthrie, that she would make that trip. The FBI told CBS, though, they have been in touch with authorities in Mexico. The Pima County Sheriff has said there's no indication that Guthrie was brought across the border. I asked retired FBI agent Greg Rogers about whether he thinks this could be a search that crosses into Mexico.
No, I can assure you that the federales, the Mexican federal police, our counterparts, have been involved in this case.
Guess what, bud? Waylon Jennings, they have not. So take that guarantee. I can guarantee you can guarantee, sure.
From Mexico.
No, I can assure you that the federales, the Mexican federal police, our counterparts, have been involved in this case from the get-go. I mean, literally from the very beginning, because
talk about your all-time backfires.
Just because of the proximity, how close Tucson is to the border. And again, as you've said, it's very easy to drive into Nogales. That's not, but there are cameras and there are so plus I can assure you from working years of cartel cases, the Mexican federal police have very close contact with the cartels. They have spoken with them about this, because if she were in Mexico, especially if she were in the Nogales area, the new generation cartel's very active there. They would know. Nothing goes on in cartel territory that they don't know about. And I'm not saying, I don't believe at all that this had anything to do with the cartels. I'm just saying they would know about it. And the Mexican federal police have been speaking with them about it, because nothing happens in an area they dominate that they don't know about.
Yeah, but except they haven't been in contact. There's been no official request. I don't think that they believe that she's in Mexico. I think that this has sort of taken on a life of its own. That in the movies, that's sort of what happens. So I think he was wrong. And Kelsey, I'm sure the vest has tassels.
The amount of money on the line for someone who has information to come forward in this case has gone up. You have the FBI offering $100,000 as a reward, and now Crime Stoppers is offering a reward of $100,000 after money was put up by a personal injury lawyer in Wisconsin. Joining us now to talk about this case once again is missing persons private investigator Steve Fisher. Thank you, as always, for being with us on Law and Crime.
All right. Well, who gives a shit about this guy? God, and he dominates the other. Okay, moving on. I'd rather listen to Fredo than Steve Fisher, private investigator. I'd rather listen to Tassels. I will not listen to him under any circumstance, for any reason. Okay, let's see if does Nancy yell today? I kind of dug her yesterday. She was all right. It's not breaking news, but thank you.
Guthrie's mother, Nancy Guthrie, missing day 19. How has that fumbling intruder on the front porch managed to elude local law enforcement and
She's gonna get pissed today.
the feds? This as
I feel her energy. I feel her energies.
tonight, Nanos drops a bomb, another one.
She already feels pissed off.
He thinks an accomplice may exist, plus new DNA. What? Did they not get it all the first time? There's new DNA as the search now extends to Mexico. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us. Welcome, everyone. Again, this is Crime Stories. I'm Nancy Grace, the latest in the search for Nancy Guthrie. Straight out to Dave Mack, Crime Stories investigative reporter. New DNA. I hardly know where to start. So much is happening at this hour. New DNA. What new DNA?
Whose show? Nancy's?
Well, Nancy, the sheriff's department and other investigators went back to the home this week. We knew that, but we didn't know was that they were scouring every square foot of that house, every wall, every doorknob, every faucet. They reached in every nook and cranny of that entire home trying to find anything that was some.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm starting to like her a little more again. Serenity 72, thank you for your donation. There was a lady up here in Washington State that was taken from her home and she was found dead in Mexico. Don't remember if it was boyfriend or ex-boyfriend. When was that? When was that case? I vaguely remember hearing about it. Her voice is like nails on a chalkboard. Well, lucky for you, Rusty McShackleford, that you love nails on a chalkboard.
That was body fluid, some type of, that would present DNA of some type. And apparently, Nancy, they have found some new DNA inside the house, not found before. And again, this comes 2 weeks after they gave the investigators turned the home back over to the family.
Guys, you're seeing video of Nancy Guthrie's home there in the Catalina foothills. This is from our friends at 12 News. Nima Rahmani joining us, former federal prosecutor turned trial attorney, former president of the West Coast Trial Lawyers, author of Harvard to Hashtag. Nima Rahmani, you know what is going to happen if and when there is a trial in the kidnap of Nancy Guthrie. There are going to be wild claims that the DNA was planted. Remember O.J. Simpson? I hate to bring up that recollection, but it worked. It actually worked on a jury. They convinced a jury, my former co-anchor, Johnny Cochran, convinced a jury that the LAPD had planted the victim's blood on Simpson's socks. Don't you know, if that were true, that there would be a tell-all blockbuster book and a movie describing the big conspiracy to frame a beloved sportscaster, former football icon. That didn't happen, but that's where this is going. There's a 2-week delay in finding the new DNA. I'm bearing the lead. The lead is fantastic. I've got more DNA to go on, but this is a huge, huge faux pas. It is a misstep. But Nima, I have a solution before you give me your attack.
I like Nima too.
The solution is that the new DNA is found before the perp is identified. So it would be impossible for it to have been planted. But still, it's open to attack, Nima.
It is, Nancy, and we've been talking about the contamination of the crime scene. Now you have DNA found later, and obviously the biggest case is OJ, but people and jurors, they love a cover-up. Look at Karen Reed. She walked because the Commonwealth wasn't able to prove their case, and they argued, the defense, that it was a big law enforcement conspiracy and cover-up. So certainly finding the DNA is helpful, and even if it's a partial, we've seen it with Rex Heuermann and obviously familial DNA, Golden State Killer, Gone Girl Nancy Papini. There's a lot you can do with partial DNA now, mitochondrial DNA. But you're right. I mean, obviously, the defense loves the fact that this wasn't found originally. And you had reporters and bloggers and YouTubers walking all throughout the crime.
The mitochondrial DNA and then like root hair DNA. There's also a DNA that I believe, I think it was out of New Zealand, Star Mix. And Star Mix is a probability DNA that has basically, it's like, you know, what are the chances? And it gives you like an exact, like 1 out of like, you know, 25 million that it's not this person. It's like, it's likelihood DNA.
Crime scene
There's so many different kinds of DNA.
before it was.
Well, one thing there, Tom Smith joining me, former NYPD detective, 30 years. 30 years. Now co-host of Gold Shield's podcast, also assigned to the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force. So he has worked with the feds. This is what I think happened, Tom. I think the locals did their DNA search. Then finally, the feds were brought in. The feds can't just Bigfoot and come in uninvited, right? There's a separation of power in our government. The feds just can't take over the state government. So they kind of have to be invited, so to speak. Once they finally got in, I think they went in and did their own DNA search.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the problem with that is it was too long down the road. They should have been called immediately because, like you said, Nancy, they are the best at evidence collection that we have in law enforcement. Their technology and the way they do it is next to none. But when you are down the road after 50 people have been trampling through that crime scene and you have guys going in the backyard cleaning the pool while this woman is still missing is a problem. And you brought up the best point of this. Down the road, if you lock someone up, it's going to be a mess. And I hope it works out. But grabbing DNA at this point from the crime scene, who knows whose it is with the amount of people who have been walking through there. I never understood opening that crime scene. It's a house that no one now is living in. What is the problem with just stop?
This is a fantastic point by Nima, I believe is his name. I don't know. I can't remember his name. Yeah, nobody's staying there. Why open it up? I never did understand that. Why open it up?
Stopping everyone from going in, roping it off, putting a radio car in front of it until this case is done. And they didn't do that. And that's going to be a problem.
I think, Tom Smith, from what we could tell,
all right. Okay. So, yeah. So I remember it was a couple of years ago. He was extradited back to Washington. I do remember that. Yeah. Although that wasn't a ransom kidnapping case. Well, alleged, I believe.
Interior was closed off. And I'm hoping and praying that's true to somewhat preserve the scene, at least the interior, which is the most important part anyway. Also, let me go back to Susanna Ryan. I want to follow up on what Tom Smith just said. Susanna Ryan, lab director, forensic DNA analyst at Pure Gold Forensics.
Day after day, you show up, incredible stamina, the best consistency in the business. People are talking about it. They really are. Ahead of schedule. We're ahead of schedule. Under budget, ahead of schedule.
DNA consultant at Ryan Forensics, 25 years in the DNA business. What pertinent DNA do you believe they have found 2 weeks after the fact? What could have been missed the first time? Pertinent DNA. Because we already know the DNA is stranger DNA. We know that. It's not someone that comes in contact regularly with Nancy Guthrie. So the granny nanny or the house cleaner or the dog walker or the home health care person, we know it's not them. They have been ruled out. So What was missed the first time? What are the nooks and the crannies that they would discover, investigate to get new DNA?
I think they're probably trying to backtrack, figure out where this perpetrator must have contacted or touched as he entered the crime scene, as he moved about the home. So I'm sure it's a lot of crime reconstruction based upon anything that might have been moved or out of place in that house. And so they're trying, they're going to want to try to zero in on things they know that he came into contact with, and hope that they're able to pull the perpetrator's DNA from those areas.
Could it be, Susanna Ryan, something that wasn't obvious the first time, such as, let's just go with sweat, urine, saliva? What would be more difficult to spot the first time?
Well, obviously something like a body fluid, if there was blood, that's easy to see. If there's an area that was cleaned, that's something that could be detected with using luminol, something like that. But otherwise, again, it's just something you have to think about where this person touched. Maybe I'm sure they spoke with the family. They had a good idea of where every object in that house should have been. Maybe someone had a recollection and said, you know what? I don't think that book, that lamp, that whatever was in that location. I think that had to have been.
Okay. So does anybody remember the Amanda Knox case when I think it was Rudy God, memory fails me now. Not Rudy Gobert. That's the center for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Anyway, he he dropped a deuce in the toilet
Moved
and left it there. They got his DNA off it. It was just like the hell.
So I think that's probably something that's been happening as well. Just help from the family members trying to determine anything that's been contacted. Maybe it was, the handle of a toilet. Who knows? Just to try to make sure that they're collecting everything, because once they do release that crime scene, they can't go back to it. You have to collect whatever you can while you can. And then once that's
I've done many podcasts about that.
released and people are in and out, the family members are back in and out, then you have even additional chances of contamination.
Scott Eicher joining us tonight, digital forensics expert, historical cellular analysis expert, founding member of CAST, Cellular Analysis Survey Team. Now at PCAexperts.com, Precision Cellular Analyst. Scott, thank you for being with us tonight. I want to talk to you about a novel idea.
I need Nancy to get angry.
And that idea is not just GPS tracking in vehicles that were in that area. And I'm not sure how that could possibly be picked up the way cell phones are. But what about this? Just go with me on this.
Yeah, Rudy Gaudet. I believe he's I don't know if he's out now, but he's close to being out, and he's going to write a book, which he's going to implicate Amanda Knox in the setup of the crime. And seems to be awfully pissed off about it.
For instance, SiriusXM, if you have a subscription, can be tracked. Uconnect, for instance, can be tracked. That's the hookup, the Wi-Fi hookup in a car. Those lead to IDs, the subscription. How can we use it?
We can use it just like we're using the cell phone data of phones in the area. We can also go to those companies and ask them, are these GPS vehicles with either OnStore or SiriusXM or any of those other services, were they in that area at that time? So the investigators can go interview them, see if they were legitimately in that area or passing through or one of the suspects. So another avenue.
So I think Amanda Knox is guilty. I think that she was I think that she was in on it. I mean, it just so happens that Raffaele Solecito, God, I can't believe I'm remembering these names, was a knife connoisseur
down if we
her buddy, and I don't know if she's the one like that did it.
we can get any of the vehicles that were in that area.
So you're telling me that, for instance, Uconnect, which operates on cell waves, Wi-Fi, Sirius XM, you got to fight Sirius XM. They're not just going to hand it over to the feds on a silver platter. They fight that. Any subscription data on their clients, but we will get it, even if they put up a fight. OnStar. So you're telling me, much like cell phones, those unique features in vehicles emit a certain.
You want to know what one of the crazy? Well, it's not one of the crazier things, but you know that they told Amanda Knox that when she was in when she was in prison in Italy, when they took blood from her, they told her that she had AIDS, and she thought she had AIDS for like 2 weeks, and then they said that they messed up and she didn't have AIDS.
Wi-Fi wavelength that can be picked up. How can it be picked up? How can it be detected? Are you comparing it to, for instance, how a cell phone is picked up in the area? How do you do it?
Yes, it's exactly. You got to remember all those devices like OnStar, Sirius, all those have to have a connection to the cellular network. So we're kind of backtracking, getting more information from the cellular network along with the vehicle information from OnStar or any of these other companies, and saying, okay, now let's look at the cellular data for that vehicle that had Sirius XM and either GPS there or a cellular connection to see if they're in the area and how they might be able to help the investigation.
So you're telling me that the Wi-Fi from Uconnect, Sirius XM, OnStar pops up just like phone cells pop up?
You got to remember the Sirius XM or Uconnect Wi-Fi is just in your car. It's actually just providing cellular service or Wi-Fi connection in your car. But then your car connects to the cellular network.
Don't forget that an eyewitness the next morning said that they saw Amanda Knox buying bleach and cleaning the apartment.
Network. That's how you're getting that information.
So it is just like a cell phone.
Yes.
I mean, it's not just like a cell phone. I mean, the way you detect it is the same way you detect a cell phone in the area. Yes?
Yes.
Okay,
I
here's
said
my next
yes.
question. What about this?
Did you see that?
What is a cell phone in the area? Yes?
Yes.
Okay,
I
here's
said
my next
yes.
question. What about this?
It is. I just said that an eyewitness said that. Whether it's true or not is up to you.
What if, for the record, state your answer verbally? Another thing, Iker, what about this? What about a cell phone or a Uconnect? That's the Wi-Fi in a car connecting to a neighbor's Wi-Fi. You know, when you're trying to get a cell, say, let's just pretend you're not at Starbucks because they have a Wi-Fi connection. Just say you're sitting out in a parking lot and you're trying to connect and you see Publix.
Let's also not forget, and I don't want to get into this whole Amanda Knox thing, but I mean, I have podcasts about Amanda Knox on this channel, a couple of them, and she blamed a very innocent man, and I don't know why she would have done that.
And you see Trader Joe's and you see Starbucks.
So she's not the innocent little angel that her supporters tried to make her out to be. I'm sorry. They don't.
And you find one to which you can connect, or sometimes your phone will automatically connect to that. Would that be detectable?
It is detectable, and that's a thing that we do through Google, is determine what devices were in the area of different Wi-Fis. For example, they would put a geofence around Nancy Guthrie's residence, and they want any devices that were in the area of those Wi-Fi points. You know, it doesn't even have to connect to those Wi-Fi. It just has to be able to see that Wi-Fi device and measure its signal. So that's one of the things that the investigators are doing at this time.
Okay, Iker, slow down, please. Sir, can you say that again very slowly for us mere mortals that were not with CAST? Go ahead. One more time. You start with geofencing. Explain to everyone that's not tracking down killers, what is geofencing?
That's going through Google and maybe other companies and providing them an area and then asking them of any of their devices that are in that area. Google can do that based on their devices, Android phones, getting signal from the various Wi-Fi points in that area, which allows them to say that device is in that area, for example, Nancy's residence.
Okay. I don't want to go to DEFCON 4 because that is exactly how jurors get confused. But you're telling me that, and
Eric says, Josh, I'm almost at the fatigue point on this case. Only 19 days in, we are chasing our tail. The hope is that, I'm telling you, Eric. So this is the hope, and I understand, but the hope is that we wake up in the next few days, and they have charged somebody, or they have found her, and it could happen like that. So I'm not giving up yet. I'm still fascinated and interested, and I still think that there are more stones to overturn, and I'm trying to keep the faith. But yes, I mean, it feels like sort of a circular situation at this point. A handyman in Washington State has been charged with kidnapping and murder of 82-year-old last year. I didn't know about that one. What the hell? I hope I'm right too.
I'm not talking about cell phones. We've already mined that. I'm talking about car Wi-Fi. I'm talking about Sirius XM or similar. I'm talking about OnStar. You're telling me that any Wi-Fi related device, whether it connects to someone's home Wi-Fi or not, can be picked up, even if it's in the area. We're not talking about just cell phones. We're talking about cars. That's what we're talking about. And then once that can be identified, we can trace it back to the subscription.
You are correct. It can be cars. It can be an iPad without any cellular service. It can be a watch. It could be an iPad with no cellular service. It could be a cell phone. It could be a vehicle. All those devices are measured. Their location is measured by the surrounding Wi-Fi points. And Google can say, based on where these known Wi-Fi points are, that they get that these devices are in this area.
Put up, Iker. Iker, that's really smart that you mentioned watches. So, geofencing, if the perp or his accomplice is wearing a watch, a smart watch, a Garmin, and anything, that's going to pop up?
That's correct. Now, that has to have some sort of Google nexus to it.
Got it. Needs a Google Nexus. Okay. Speaking of accomplices, and I haven't even gotten to Mexico, the Guthrie family has now taken it upon themselves. And you got to wonder, why are the victims having to do their own searches to
I think that they do have license plate readers. I believe so. Yeah.
extend the search into Mexico? I'm going to get right to that, but also accomplice. What accomplice? Now, I found this unusual. Dave Mack, everybody on the panel, look at this photo if you can see your monitor. The with a backpack and the without a backpack. From where did the backpack come? Was there a car waiting? Was he so close by he could just walk to the backpack? Has anybody noticed? Nima Rahmani, what? There he is with a backpack. There he is without a backpack. Who handed it to him? What waiting car was there?
Is this the first case that you followed me on? Is that what you're asking?
What do you think about this, Nima Rahmani? Now, Nanos has dropped another bomb that he thinks there was an accomplice.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised, Nancy, if there was an accomplice, at least after the fact, right? Here's someone who has now been gone for almost 3 weeks. And a lot of people are speculating Mexico because of the proximity to Mexico. And listen, I don't want to sound grim, but at a certain point, we got to start talking about this being a murder case and Nancy Guthrie not being alive. Obviously, she's a pacemaker. She doesn't have her medication. So, and under kidnapping, federal law, it's a mandatory life sentence if someone dies.
You said at some point we have to talk about Nancy Guthrie possibly not being alive. Okay, we haven't reached that point, so let's deal with the here and now. Nima Rahmani, accomplice. Okay, I don't know how you wandered off into Nancy Guthrie is dead. Accomplice.
Well, let me tell you what, I'm thinking like a lawyer. And under federal law, if it's a kidnapping that causes death, it's a mandatory life case. The president is talking about the death penalty here, Nancy. So the perpetrator may be gone and may have some help. Obviously, the closest place to go, given the proximity to the border, is Mexico. Now, obviously, that's after the fact. Now, before or during the commission of the crime, yeah, it's certainly possible. I mean, I want to know what that other DNA is, but I haven't seen anything definitively that leads me to believe that someone helped this perpetrator with the kidnapping, because what was he or she doing? Just waiting in the car? What was their role in all this? Just to give a backpack? It's certainly possible, but I would be surprised based on the.
As long as there's new information, look, 19 days in an investigation is not long. It's just not. I mean, I'm following cases that are from like 97, 98. So that 1989, the Leticia Hernandez case, I check on it all the time. So, I mean, as long as there's interest and information, I try to revisit these cases. But 19 days in is I mean, this unfortunately is not
evidence.
Summerwell's been missing 5 years, man. I mean, it's
we have so far that someone helped in this abduction before it happened.
Hi guys, Nancy Grace here between the grocery store and say front 6.
It's coming from Nanos.
Financing.net/Nancy. And
hold on one second.
Good luck. Dave Mack, where is the theory coming from that there is an accomplice? Nanos threw that out there, and
it's coming from Nanos. He says they have not ruled out the thought that there's an accomplice involved. And Nancy, I'm with you. I don't see how it could be done by one person. I never have. And I go by simply how I know it is to try to get somebody to walk when they have trouble walking. You're talking about an 84-year-old woman who cannot walk 50 feet on her own. She needs help. I'm not saying that she's an invalid. I'm just saying that to walk somebody who has issues walking is not an easy feat. To get her out of that house would have taken 2 people. Think about it, Nancy. If you deal with your mother and moving your mother around, think about it. All she has to do is just be like a sack of potatoes, lay still. That guy's not carrying her out of there. It's not going to happen. 2 people. It has to be. So the Nanos is saying they have not ruled out the possibility of a suspect, of an accomplice. Well, you showed the backpack picture where the guy's wearing a backpack, and then in another one where he's not. I think you got 2 identically dressed guys that are out there trying to pull off a major kidnapping, and they've been successful so
Put him
far.
up. Okay, Dave. You know what? I like you. Do you hear what you just said?
Yes.
2 identically dressed guys.
Yep.
That have the same height, the same body build, the same gait, the same legs.
Well,
Okay, I'm going to give you a few moments to rest and think about what you just said. Okay, and
we
try
haven't
not to
seen
say
them
that
both
again.
walking.
That there are
We
2
have
people
not seen both
identically
walking.
dressed. What?
Similarly dressed. We haven't
I
seen
can't hear
video
him.
of them
What?
both walking. We haven't seen video of them both walking, Nancy. We've only seen video, very little video. And then the pictures there, you've got somebody that is obviously not dressed identically. So did he take the backpack off and set it off to the side? I mean, this makes no sense. I'm saying 2 guys, similar height.
Okay, you just
similar
said they're
size. Yeah.
identically dressed. Now you're saying they're not identically dressed. Okay, first of all, let's just stop because there's not 2 people the same height, the same weight, wearing the same outfits. The one guy got the backpack from somewhere. Was there a car waiting and was somebody in that car? Okay, I'm going to give you another few moments to just simmer down. Let's talk about the possibility of an accomplice. Tom Smith joining us, former NYPD detective, worked in homicide, was with the Joint Terrorism Task Force, now star Gold Shields podcast. Tom, the ransom letters, if they are connected, how could this idiot who's trying to reaches down and grabs a clump of plants to put over the door cam, how could that guy write a very eloquent, well-worded, well-crafted
What did I miss?
ransom note? Let's see the guy. Here he goes. There, that's the ticket. I'll grab these plants. Yeah, okay, that's not working.
Did I miss something good? Hold on.
Car waiting and was somebody in that car. Okay, I'm going to, what?
Similarly dressed. We haven't.
Okay, Dave. You know,
And then in another one where he's not. I think you got 2. It has to be. So the Nanos is saying they have not ruled out the possibility of a suspect, of an accomplice. Well, you showed the backpack picture where the guy's wearing a backpack, and then in another one where he's not. I think you got 2 identically dressed guys that are out there trying to pull off a major kidnapping, and
She's gonna get pissed.
they've been successful so
put him
far.
up. Okay, Dave. You know what? I like you. Do you hear what you just said?
Yes.
2 identically dressed guys.
Yep.
That have the same height, the same body build, the same gait, the same legs.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to give you a few moments to rest and think about what you just said. Okay, and
We
try
haven't
not to
seen
say
them
that
both
again.
walking.
That there are
We
2
have
people
not seen both
identically
walking.
dressed. What?
Similarly dressed. We haven't
I
seen
can't hear
video
him.
of them
What?
both walking. We haven't seen video of them both walking, Nancy. We've only seen video, very little video. And then the pictures there, you've got somebody that is obviously not dressed identically. So did he take the backpack off and set it off to the side? I mean, this makes no sense. I'm saying 2 guys, similar height.
Okay, you just
similar
said they're
size. Yeah.
identically dressed. Now you're saying they're not identically dressed. Okay, first of all, let's just stop because there's not 2 people the same height, the same weight, wearing the same outfits. one guy got the backpack from somewhere. Was there a car waiting and was somebody in that car? Okay. I'm going to give you another few moments to just simmer down. Let's talk about the possibility of an accomplice. Tom Smith joining us, former NYPD detective, worked in homicide, was with the Joint Terrorism Task Force, now star Gold Shields podcast. Tom, the ransom letters, if they are connected, how could this idiot who's trying to reaches down and grabs a clump of plants?
You know what? I have asked Chris about it before, and I don't want to I don't want to pull the curtain back. It's really not my place. But she legitimately does get fired up too.
To put over the door cam, how could that guy write a very eloquent, well-worded, well-crafted ransom note? Let's see the guy. Here he goes. There, that's the ticket. I'll grab these plants. Yeah, okay, that's not working. I don't see it being the same person, Tom.
No, and I was never, ever sold on the ransom notes that were sent to TMZ, never, because of the time frame that it took to get them. Kidnappers don't work that way, Nancy. They grab their target, they set up what they want, who they're going to contact, and it's done quickly. Because the longer that kidnappers have their victims with them, it gives law enforcement a quicker time and a shorter time span to track them down. Kidnappings are done quickly. And on your other point, I don't think this was done by himself at all. Kidnappings are usually never done by one person, whether there's someone sitting in a car or standing and looking around as a lookout, but there is someone else in that area helping him. To carry someone out and get someone out of a house, even remotely resisting, is very, very difficult for one person to do. And then try to get them into a vehicle is a monumental task. And I never thought this was done by one person, and I still don't.
You know, I am projecting, which is not helpful when you're trying to try a case. But Tom, my mom lives with us. She's 94. And when you try to pick her up, it's dead weight. When you try to help her walk, very often I'll just get her to sit on her walker and I will wheel her wherever we're going because it is so hard to manage her. It's like 2 giant, tall kitchen trash bags full of sand, and they go this way and that way.
Nancy just compared her mother to trash bags of sand.
And you're trying to drag them. It's hard. We know that she was upright. We believe she was upright when she first came out the door because those blood drops are clearly low velocity droplets. And if you study them, you see that in one spot, there are a couple, which means she was standing still, unable to go forward, just standing there. I don't know if she's trying to get her balance, but she stood there and several droplets fell in one place. There was kind of a satellite dropping, a grouping. That said, I think someone had to help her out the front door. And that's not a one-man job. Agree, disagree?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And listen, if she had any thought in her head, we tell, people who might be abducted, even children, all right, even kids, drop down to the ground and be
same body build.
Okay, so is he not wearing a backpack in that picture? I don't know, man.
Several droplets fell in one place. There was kind of a satellite dropping, a grouping.
This is a great question.
That said, I think someone had to help her out the front door. And that's not a one-man job. Agree, disagree?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And listen, if she had any thought in her head, we tell, people who might be abducted, even children, all right, even kids, drop down to the ground and become dead weight. Even a 10, 12-year-old kid that's laying down on the ground is hard to pick up and get somewhere, much less an 84-year-old woman. It's very difficult, and I don't think it's possible. And I am in total agreement with you that this was definitely more than one person.
Scott Eicher, another question is Google was able to mine their literally trillions of data points to find Nancy Guthrie's door cam and resurrect it. What happened to the video of the perp leaving with Nancy?
I believe that the Pima County and the FBI are not releasing that. They want to show what's going to help them the most, which is him approaching the door. We've got a size, we've got clothing, we've got all the other things. They're not going to release to the media if Nancy's drug out that front door. They don't want that to happen. That's just too fragile for the family to see. So they're giving us what they want us to see. I bet there's probably more.
I did.
What do you think, Scott Eicher, about the possibility? We know they're in the scratching process. Could you explain what that is? And do you think there's any chance we're going to get the video off the roof, which might show the vehicle?
The scratching process is about data that's overwritten and overwritten. And when you're trying to get to data that's been overwritten, you have to take the layers off, and you have to do that very delicately as not to damage the layer underneath. So if it's possible to pull more video that's been overwritten, we'd love to see it, that's for sure.
Guys, a lot happening. The family is actually enlisting help from Mexico to find.
All right, before we get to that, Eric says, think about it. Who is going to remain tight in crime? Brothers, sons, working with dad, etc. Yeah, but I mean, would they wear the same exact clothing?
Mrs.
That's, I mean, I don't know.
Guthrie. Dave Mack, what do you know about it?
The Guthrie family has reached out to the Searching Mothers of Sonora. This is a group of mothers who actually try to help find missing people. And they've been reached out by the Guthrie family, not by the FBI, not by the sheriff's department. It's the Guthrie family reaching out to these individuals, asking for help.
So here's my question to you guys, to the audience. Is the thought that if Nancy had the subscription to Google Nest, that this crime would probably be solved, or at least be further down the road than we are?
In finding their mother. And the shocking part about this is that we're talking about Sonora, Arizona and Sonora, Mexico. They're right across the border, 60 miles to the south of Tucson, Nancy. It's not a big leap to think about how easy it would be to get a person across the border, especially in that area, Nogales.
Because I don't know if it would be solved, but would it be how much further down the road would we be with all of that footage?
They check like 1 in 25 vehicles coming across the border. It's much different.
Well, they have some footage. They're trying to get more footage from inside the house. And apparently the way that they got this off the front porch it was done in a way that had never been done before. They did not think that they were going to be able to get it. It sounds almost like a miracle that there's even this footage out there. It took some serious reverse engineering and layering and mining. It was a lot to get. I mean, it wasn't an easy get
going from the United States to Mexico than it is coming from Mexico into the United States. So getting Nancy Guthrie out of the country in a matter of hours, Nancy, if that was where they wanted to be. And so far, the FBI and the sheriff's department. Nobody's reached out as far as Mexico is saying. So the only reaching out is being done by the Guthrie family, as far as we know.
And yeah, you're right. Mexican authorities say no formal FBI request has been made in the Guthrie case, but the Guthrie family, that was my original question, is trying to get help. Explain.
Yeah, they've reached out to the searching mothers of Sonora. They've reached out to this group because this group works with people that are missing in Sonora, in that area. And so the Guthrie family has reached out to this nonprofit group asking them for help. This group of women works with law enforcement in Mexico in trying to find kidnapped and missing individuals. So the Guthrie family has taken it upon themselves.
The question is, do you think if they could get more footage, they would have got it by now? No, I don't. It took them a while to get the front doorbell footage, which they did not think that they were going to get.
To reach out for help in Mexico.
I mean, the way that the process has been explained is that there's just eons and eons and eons of things to go through to see if you could just get that one small little piece of discarded, unsaved cloud data in a what is essentially a landfill of tossed away, discarded, never really to be looked at again video evidence.
Hi guys, Nancy Grace here. Please join us on Crime Stories and stream it first on Fox 1. When breaking crime news develops, we investigate it and bring it to you. Bombshell updates, answers to unanswered questions from cases making the headlines and cases you may to Nancy Grace.
Yep. It's called Desert Law, and it's an A&E original series. Criminal is on a who. I'm excited about it. They can themselves and
Okay, a desert
firm. But listen, I gotta hope for the best. You know, I've heard all the conspiracy theories that this is all a publicity play by the victims or law enforcement, and I'm the most skeptical person you'll probably ever meet. But I can't think that this is in any way related to the reality show. I certainly hope. I expect more from law enforcement. So I'm just
okay. That really wasn't my question. Of course, the search for Nancy Guthrie is not related to the reality show. You're not being responsive. I am referring to attacks on the evidence because of the reality show. My mind is already ahead about how this evidence that is being amassed right now can be attacked by a defense attorney because of the reality show. That's my question. Let me refine it for you.
Well, so this is a great question. I want to know what the reason they searched and towed the Range Rover and searched that house. That will be, if released, and I don't know if and when it will get released, but that will be an interesting search warrant or probable cause affidavit or whatever it turns into. You would think that it would have to be more than just a hunch or a tip to get a federal search warrant signed off on. And you know, look, just like everybody else, I hope that they have so much more than they're telling us. Fear that they don't.
I don't think a judge is going to allow evidence of the reality show unless there's a direct link with the filmers, the producers, the sound guys and girls related to the collection of evidence.
Excuse me.
No judge.
I had to cut you off so very quickly in your answer, but isn't it true, Nima Rahmani, that any witness can be cross-examined on a potential pecuniary or money interest in the evidence that they may have in the case? Isn't that true?
Potentially, yes, but I think the state would in-limb that out.
No, not potentially. The defense absolutely can cross-examine on a pecuniary interest. If your law partner okay, becomes a witness in a case you are defending. Let's just pretend it's a drug case. All right. You're defending the drug dealer. Your partner gets up on the stand to recount some incident. I would cross-examine him from one end of
Carry interest.
the courthouse to the next about your financial agreement with your partner. How much does she make if you win the case? If you lose the case, is there a retainer from the client? Don't you want to?
No, that was an arrest warrant, a probable cause warrant. That was the guy that tried to extort the Guthrie family.
Win the case?
Allegedly.
Won't you make money off this case? I would have a field day on pecuniary interest, money interest in the outcome of the case. That is a given and has been approved and affirmed by the U.S. Supreme Court as a valid line of cross-examination.
But the way these reality agreements work, Nancy, is the talent either doesn't get paid or gets paid very little. The sheriff's not going to make more money if the show blows up on A&E. The network, the production company, they keep all the money.
Excuse me.
So we'd have.
Hold on. What? Don't they get renewed if the show does well? That's a simple yes, no.
The renewals are usually options that the production company has, and they're baked in the original agreement at a certain
But if the show
price.
bombs, there's not going to be an option.
Who cares?
Well, they won't exercise the option.
I'm
be
not a
surprised if it
DDS.
comes into a
I
criminal
don't know how to pull a tooth, but Jamie, could you give me a set of pliers? Because I'm going to use them on him, Nima Rahmani. We all know that there's a financial incentive if you're starring in or consulting on a reality show. Out to Tom Smith, former NYPD detective, star of Gold Shields with the NYPD FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force. Do you see the problem with a reality show as it relates to this case?
Yeah, 100%. They have enough problems with this case so far with what may come down the road. A reality show is just making it worse. And I'm guaranteeing.
Wait, are you? So is the Pima County Sheriff's Department is going to have its own reality show? Does that mean that Nanos is going to be on a reality TV show? Is that what we're talking about here?
You, Nancy, there's a couple of defense attorneys right now in and around that area, very prominent, who all they're doing are taking notes. And they're writing stuff down, and they're gathering videos, and they're getting news reports, and they're putting it in a little box just in case they get hired to possibly defend whoever they end up locking up.
Is Nanos the star of this?
And when Nanos takes a stand, he will be cross-examined on a pecuniary or money interest because of the reality show in the Guthrie case.
Yeah, but wasn't filming already done before Nancy went missing? So I guess season 2 may have that, but this season was done before she went missing. So it doesn't matter, Nance. No offense. I'm not trying to be mean, but.
Now, that reality show has not covered the Guthrie case, and I hope it never does.
Okay, then point taken.
And it may be entirely false that he has a money interest, but it will be a line of cross-examination.
Not if they don't cover it in the reality show, which they should absolutely, unequivocally not do under any circumstances for any reason. There is no reason to do it. It would be so uncouth of them to even broach the subject on their reality show of this. It should have nothing to do. Yeah, God.
He has now opened up the sheriff's investigation to that. Is it true? Probably not. Is it a line of cross-examination? Absolutely. Back to Susanna Ryan joining us, renowned DNA expert. What can you tell us about reports that Othram labs have been called in to do genetic genealogy? What would they be focusing on?
Well, I know that Othram is very good at working with really highly degraded samples, things that maybe there's a mixture of DNA that they're able to work with and sort of piece out those different components. Because if you have a mixture, it can be difficult to upload that to the genealogical databases. I know that the FBI also has a contract. That's where they typically send their genealogical work. They don't do it in-house, but they will send it out to Othram. So that would be my best guess. It's probably a really low-level sample, something that's maybe a little bit degraded, that they know that Othram has a proven track record of getting successful results from those type of samples.
And Susanna, Othram experts at building out family trees. They were involved in not only the Brian Kohberger DNA case, which was a spectacular win for the state, even though they squandered it in a cheap plea, but also the Rachel Morin case. As you recall, a guy from El Salvador who was running from a murder charge there came here. He attacked a minor girl in her home. Then he attacked and murdered Rachel Morin on the Ma and Pa Trail, a mother of 5, as I recall. They also, which the DNA was greatly degraded because she was out in the open and her body was in mud. It was a horrible scenario.
Which is
Othram,
I think that's probably the right thing to do, I guess. I don't know. Hard to say.
came to the rescue and cracked that DNA case as well. So they've got a great track record dealing with minuscule amounts of DNA, as you said, degraded DNA, mixed DNA, building out the genetic.
Before we move on to Enton in Mexico, Viva la Mexico, cabrones. Please, can you please hit that like button if you have not? What are we at here? What are we at on the likes? I mean, hold on here. I'll tell you where we're at. 283. Thank you to the people that did.
Genealogy, family tree. So we're waiting and hoping that Othram is brought in.
Probably.
And that they turn another miracle. Susanna Ryan, you have another idea. What is it?
Well, we're talking about things that this perpetrator might have touched. One of the things that we know he touched were those plants, the kind of strange decision to pick up, pull those plants and hold them in front of the camera. Yes, he's wearing gloves, but as we've already discussed, he still might have some of his own DNA on the gloves. And the other thing is, a lot of times when we're talking about transfer DNA or things that have been touched, it already has DNA on it. It already has background DNA from other people touching it. I would not really expect to see someone else's DNA on those plants for any reason. You might expect to see DNA from the doorbell, from the Nest camera, something like that, but I would not expect to see anybody's DNA other than the perpetrator on the plants. So that could be an item that really needs to be further investigated and tested.
All right. Is that it for her, or is she? Nope, she comes back. She got a little more.
In the night, and that is the bizarre internet search. Explain.
Well, we have an unidentified individual in Tucson who actually did.
This guy again, he is a glutton. And Ms. Kelsey, thank you for gifting 5 lab memberships. And congratulations to the people that got it.
Did an internet search looking for 2 specific things. One, Nancy Guthrie's address in Tucson. and the other, Savannah Guthrie's income. Now, this was done 6 months or so prior to the kidnapping taking place, and they know it's an individual in Tucson. I'm shocked that we can find out that kind of information, generally speaking, anyway, but I think that gives you a heads up that somebody was really targeting Savannah Guthrie's mom.
To Scott Eicher, what can we do with that information as it relates to finding the perp? We know the search occurred. It's on Google Trends. Now, how do we narrow that down and catch the perp?
We've used this in several cases in the past, attempted bombing here in Colorado of a police station and an arson that killed 4 people. Google searches of who might have searched those addresses led us to an IP address or a subscriber account or a MAC address that we were later to follow up and identify the perp. So it's good information. It does require a search warrant to get that from Google on that specific data, who the subscribers are or the IP address, but it's definitely one of the ways that they're working.
All of this is happening tonight and more in the search for Nancy Guthrie. Again, if you know or think you know anything about her disappearance, dial toll-free 800-225-5324, or if you wish to remain anonymous, 520-882-7463. There is a $200,002 reward for information leading to Nancy Guthrie. Thank you to our guest, but especially to you for being with us tonight. Nancy Grace signing off. But I'll see you tomorrow night. And until
Okay. On to Brian. Let's see what he has to say here.
Like an hour to get there from Nancy's house. Hey guys, thanks so much for checking out my show. I really appreciate it. Please click to subscribe. I appreciate all the support. You guys following along with me.
Really? God, I was hoping to avoid Banfield tonight.
It's now Friday. I'm continuing, obviously, to cover the Nancy Guthrie disappearance. I'm in Nancy's neighborhood right now, but I spent the day in Mexico.
Who, me? Who was I rude to in the chat?
Which is not far. I mean, it takes like an hour to get there from Nancy's house. It's like 60 miles away, Nogales, you can cross. It's so easy to get into Mexico. They don't ask you anything, what you're going to see. I'm going to take you along for the journey. And there's been a lot of questions about whether Nancy could be in Mexico. We confirmed through FBI sources that the FBI has been in contact with Mexican authorities about the case. Mexican law enforcement has now responded, and I'm going to get into that in a minute, but they say that there's no evidence that Nancy's in Mexico, but I mean, you just can't, write it off. I mean, again, Mexico is so close. You just go south and you're there. So I wanted to go across the border. I was surprised by what I saw, and I wanted to take you guys along for the journey, and then I'll get into other updates in the case in this episode of Brian Enton Investigates. All right, so we're on our way to Mexico from Tucson, which is a really very simple drive on...
Little known fact that when Jesse Weber's hair eventually grows out of the frame, if that happens, we get 6 more weeks of winter.
Highway 19. There's a checkpoint along the highway when you are leaving Mexico. And I actually went through it the other day when I went down to Rio Rico when there was that.
I'm rude all the time, actually.
Like that false alarm. We think it was a false alarm when the guy Carlos, when they searched his house and detained him. So when you're coming back, there's a checkpoint where CBP stops you and they have dogs and they, sometimes ask you questions. But when you're going to Mexico on Highway 19, it's very, very simple. It's a straight shot. It's
I like Jesse too.
Like an hour from Tucson. So we're getting close now to Nogales, which is the border town right on the border where you can actually cross in. This is, you guys know Mo. Say hi, Mo. How's it going?
Hello.
Daniel.
Getting ready.
Yeah, we're getting ready. And luckily they both speak good Spanish. And Daniel's actually Mexican. And I speak a little bit of Spanish just because I'm from Florida, but not a ton. So they're going to be here to help me out, and we'll see what happens. So basically, we just park and walk. That's it. So I'm a little nervous because I do not have my passport. I did not bring my passport on this trip, which I'm not sure. I'm hearing conflicting things, but I'm gonna try because you guys know me. I'm always sort of just optimistic.
That one says contact. This one doesn't.
So basically, we park here and then we walk in.
All the way. Go all the way, all the way. Keep on going, keep on going. Go, 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 go.
All right, déjame sacar.
There it is, right there. You just go right through that little gate. Thought we'd get a beg-free Grey's investigation. Yeah, right. Can you please donate to the cause?
¿Ha escuchado usted el caso de la señora Nancy Guthrie que la secuestraron o está perdida en Tucson?
This is the picture here.
Ella es la señora, ella es la conductora y es su mamá. ¿No ha escuchado nada?
No. Has he ever heard of it?
No.
Never heard of it?
Nunca ha escuchado nada.
No.
Las autoridades americanas están hablando con las autoridades mexicanas. I'm asking is about the case specifically, if they know something about Nancy's disappearance, but also the way that I'm involving them is like asking what they think about the U.S. government asking help to the Mexican
And what did
government.
he say?
He said that he's not aware of the case of Nancy's.
He really is.
Buenos días. Una preguntita. Somos de un canal de noticias en el otro lado.
He doesn't know anything about the Nancy case. Never heard of it.
Estamos haciendo un reportaje acá en México
Asking her the same thing.
preguntando sobre la desaparición de la señora. ¿Has escuchado algo de este caso?
No, la verdad
¿No has escuchado? Es la mamá de una conductora de una cadena de televisión. Vive en Tucson.
So what did she say?
She haven't heard about the case, but she said that things like that can happen. That is a sad situation, and suddenly it's like we're so close to the border again that can happen.
But she heard nothing about it.
But she don't know nothing about the case at all.
Okay.
Todo ese tiempo. Somos de una cadena de noticias del otro lado, americana. El compañero no habla español, lo voy a ayudar a traducir. ¿Ha escuchado usted el caso de la señora Nancy Guthrie, que es mamá de una presentadora de noticias allá en Estados Unidos, que está desaparecida?
No,
¿No ha escuchado nada?
nada.
So what did she say?
She said
She didn't know.
that she's not aware of the case and that she does not know any other cases of people being brought here to Mexican side from America.
He didn't say all that on camera. Yeah, that was my first. It was my first language. I speak it, but I don't speak it very well, and I typically don't speak it if I don't have to around Spanish people because I get called a gringo, and they make fun of my accent, and it's actually kind of embarrassing sometimes.
Una de noticias del americano. Que estamos trabajando. Hay una señora. You have the picture?
Yes, yeah, I have the picture.
Ahí está la mamá de una presentadora de noticias de la cadena. Ella es la mamá. Ella es la presentadora de la cadena de NBC. La mamá vive en Tucson.
Yeah, I mean, I can. Oye, mano, tengo un momento ahí contesta ahorita mismo.
Y está desaparecida. Están pidiendo la ayuda. ¿Has escuchado de algún caso de gente que hayan traído de allá de Estados Unidos para acá?
No.
No has escuchado nada.
What did he say?
He said that he hasn't heard about the case just yet. He don't think it's possible. It's kind of hard to bring people to the Mexican side.
Why do they? He's the second one who said it was hard, but when we walked in, it was easy. What do they mean by that?
Sí, es cierto. Regularmente cuando vienes en carro nunca te preguntan quién eres ni te piden documentos para cruzar a México.
No.
No.
Muy difícil. Ya cuando te
Bueno, depende, ¿no? Depende cómo te ve el oficial que está a este lado. Si ve.
What is he saying?
He's explaining why it's hard for someone to bring, because it won't be easy for you to bring someone with the eyes cover or mask. And that will be a red alert for the officers that are there. They don't ask for any document, but they're watching who's coming.
Yeah, and maybe an older lady too.
Yeah. So if they
I have no idea what he's making.
see something suspicious, then they may stop you.
But if they had you in the car, in the trunk or
Si se
something?
la traen escondida en la cajuela.
Solamente se da, yo creo.
It can happen, but it will be hard.
It would be hard.
Yeah.
Porque de otra forma, pues.
Yeah, there won't be other way.
Yeah.
Like maybe like that to put someone on the trunk, but if you bring someone sitting on the car, I mean, obviously, the most common thing will be for that person to ask for help.
Yeah.
So unless you're covered or something, but that will cut the authorities' attention.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Sí, porque digo, es muy difícil porque, aparte,
Very much. I appreciate
hay cámaras. Si tú pasas de allá para acá, todo está, la cámara te está.
Okay, there's cameras on the bridge, so on the port of entry, so they can be checking the cameras also. So
Yeah.
That's what they say, that it's not easy. It's not only that they don't ask you who you are, but there's officers looking at people, and there's cameras all the way recording.
Hey, you two bad actors. I think Gray Hughes would probably go. He'd say something like, "Mucho trabajo, poquito dinero."
All the time.
So yeah.
Sí, porque si pidieron a las autoridades mexicanas, también puedes checar ahí a norte.
Yeah, that will be one of the tools maybe for them to check the Mexican cameras on the port of entry. Yeah. ¿Su nombre?
Julio Delgado.
Julio Delgado. Muchas gracias.
So we've seen a ton of pharmacies since we came in. There's a big one here.
Yeah.
So you can get pretty much anything.
I mean, they still have controlled medicine or drugs, but like antibiotics or some other stuff that you can get without prescription in the States, you can get it here.
Okay.
It's easier.
Because the concern has been that Nancy Guthrie doesn't have her medicine, but if she was here, I think it's like heart medicine. She could probably get it.
Probably.
They could probably get it. Okay,
Probably
let's
get
go. Let's go check it out.
Oh. ¿Hay controlado?
What did he say?
He said that you can find some medicines here without prescription, that you require prescription there. Talking specifically about the heart medicine, it all depends what substance is. It may be controlled here, it may not. So maybe
He would say that he's doing a lot of work for a little bit of money.
you get good chances of getting whatever medicine you need here.
With no prescription.
With no prescription. But also it depends on the substance. There are some substances that, yes, you need prescription, but also you can get a prescription from a local doctor, and then you come and you get it. So there's always a way around for it.
Has he heard of the case?
No, he has not heard of it.
He hadn't recognized the photo. Okay.
No. Can you go? Well, if you want to.
He's a media reporter?
Yeah.
So not one person that they've talked to knows about this case.
Yeah, reporter. Yeah. I'm Brian, by the way.
Okay,
nice
Brian.
to meet you.
Yeah, nice to
You
meet
good,
you.
Mo? So have you heard of the Nancy Guthrie case?
Yes, we have, because Tucson, Arizona is like really close to the border of Nogales, and both communities are, we have families over there, and we're familiar with the case. Yes.
Has it been covered in the news here at all?
No, not much coverage, and
He knows it because he's a news guy, but that they're not covering it, even though it's very close.
But we are aware, and we have been following the news. The latest was that they think that maybe she was brought over to the Mexican side of the border. So that's where we are at.
Yeah, we were just talking to people and no one seems to know about it.
Well, he's a news guy, so he knows about it, but nobody else. Like if you're just talking to somebody on the street, they have no idea.
No, because we see the news from Tucson and we know about the case, but if we as media try to get information from the officers, the local police, I mean, they send us to the PIO, and it's really a lot of trouble. So what we do is maybe we get the
Wow. So he's saying that they even if they try to cover it, that they can't get answers, or they can't get the information. Wow.
the info from different outlets, news coverage, but we don't get official statements from local police and even less from the FBI.
How easy would it be to bring someone in, like if you had kidnapped someone?
It's very simple. I mean, I don't know anything about kidnapping people in the United States and bringing them over, pero if the local authorities aren't on alert searching for somebody, I mean, thousands of people come across the border walking and even on vehicles. It's not until they have the alert of somebody missing, they start looking at the camera footage and they can see if the person came across on foot or on a vehicle. They can see it, but they don't look for it until they know of a
They
case.
request help. Yeah.
Yes.
I wonder if they've started looking for this.
I wonder too.
Yeah.
But they won't tell anybody.
I'm kind of surprised it's not on the news more here.
I know, right? No, I don't know. Maybe
They're not even reporting it in Mexico. They're not even reporting it an hour from where it happened. Mexico's got their own things to deal with. I mean, I just unless it's like put front and center, they're just not interested in things north of the border. At least often. I mean, they don't care. Emma, why would they?
it's because I told you that it's really hard for us to get official information from authorities.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking to us. Appreciate it. What's your name?
Omar.
Omar. So this is the checkpoint when you're going back to Tucson on the highway. So you drive into Mexico, you know, there's no checkpoints, but this is like the checkpoint once you get back into the US, where they pretty much stop everybody. Again, this doesn't happen on the way into Mexico. So it was super interesting going into Mexico there in Nogales. Again, I think what stood out to me the most is that you can just get in so easily without anyone really paying attention or noticing. I want to give a shout out to Daniel, also our News Nation photographer, who helped me do with the translating. He was awesome. And then Mo, of course, behind the camera. So they were awesome. In terms, again, just of sort of where things stand with the investigation in Mexico, the sheriff has said that there's no evidence right now.
Ransom kidnappings are not like they're not that rare in Mexico. Happens a lot, actually.
That Nancy Guthrie is in Mexico. The FBI has only confirmed that they have had these conversations with authorities in Mexico. They've confirmed that to us. And now you've got the Mexican authorities who came out today and said, so far, we've not received any request in regard from a U.S. authority to actually investigate. They say they don't have any information that would lead them to believe that Nancy Guthrie is in Mexican territory. However, of course, if any requests were to come from U.S. authorities or from federal authorities, we would immediately intervene to assist in supporting the investigation being carried out or in exchanging any information that is necessary. So Mexican authorities are saying that they would agree to cooperate. But I think going back to what some of the people told me there, what's so interesting is just all the cameras. I mean, even though you can just drive into Mexico, no problem, there are a ton of cameras, it seems.
Anitra, excuse me. I don't think it's odd that most of the people haven't heard of it if they don't watch the news from America every day. In Finland, we have a few news clips when it happened. I watch American YouTubers. Yeah, but the thing, the difference between Finland and Mexico is very close to where they're at. And so I think it's more of a proximity thing. But I mean, when you cross the border, it's a whole, I hate to even sound redundant and stupid here, but it's a whole different country. And where that line ends, another country's issues begin, so that they're not that interested in American news. Why should they be?
Are recording every vehicle and every person walking in, so they could probably go back and look at those cameras if they needed to.
From the outside looking in, no. But I really do hope that I'm wrong.
And if they got some information about a vehicle that Nancy Guthrie was in, or something like that, I think that they could easily go back and look at the camera. So that could end up being very, very helpful. Okay, a couple of other things. So we did get a update from the Pima County Sheriff's Office again. Today is Thursday. There was nothing really significant in it.
I went to El Salvador in my late teens, and I went to a place called San Salvador, and it's just a really rundown place in South America, and it was for Habitat for Humanity through my youth group, and it was really eye opening. I mean, there were children. Like, when I say children, there were, I don't know, 12-year-olds that would watch your car when you would go to, because we were there for like 2 weeks, so we would grocery shop and stuff. And for $1, they would guard your car with a gun.
But I'm just going to go through everything that they said today.
It was not abnormal.
They said this remains an active investigation. As long as leads continue to come in, investigators will continue to follow up on them. Currently, several hundred personnel are assigned to this case from various law enforcement agencies and are actively reviewing thousands of tips.
I mean, I get what you're saying. Politically, probably not. But, Jack and Lily were very a big topic of conversation here in America. And I remember the stabbings that happened up there were a big deal. And I remember, but yeah, I know it that's just kind of how it is. It is weird, I get what you're saying.
So when they say various law enforcement agencies, obviously FBI, Pima County Sheriff's Office, they say lab analysis continues on biological evidence found at Nancy Guthrie's residence. To be clear, this is not new or different evidence from what was already recovered.
Also, Dylan Ehler, you remember Dylan Ehler, that case from Nova Scotia, was Canadian. I actually interviewed his father on this channel.
Word from the property, no further information will be released at this time. So we knew that they found a stranger's DNA inside Nancy Guthrie's house. Remember, they tested it. It did not come back to Nancy Guthrie. It did not come back to any of Nancy Guthrie's friends or family. So to me, and I've been saying this all along, that to me is one of the most important pieces of evidence here. The glove to me just never seemed like it was going to be that critical. I mean, it's found 2 miles away. There's black gloves all over.
Also, I'm closely following the curling cheating scandal rocking Canada at this current time. Just kidding. I don't care.
For the place, but this DNA in the house could be really important, and that's where the IgG, the investigative genetic genealogy, comes in. They can test that DNA to put it into databases, genealogy databases, and try to find family members of the suspect. But that could take time. It could take, and if you look back at one of my older episodes, I get into that in a lot of detail, but I'll link it below. But that could take time. It could take weeks. It could take months. So.
He touched the granite with his finger before it got to the hog line.
Oh, but it's a new technology relatively in the law enforcement world, but it's been successful in cases like the Brian Koberger case in Idaho. So we know that that's ongoing. In terms of calls, tips, they say The 911 communication center call numbers, including a previous year. They're giving us a comparison of all the tips that come in. So for February, they've received 31,608 calls in Pima County and 20 to the 911 center and 23,130 administrative calls. When you compare that to last year, it's way higher. I mean, they got 20,000 calls versus 31,000. So they're basically just saying, they're getting a lot of tips. FBI has received more than 20,000 tips to date. And of course, if you know anything, by the way, call 1-800-CALL-FBI. The clothing, the only item that has been positively identified is the Ozark backpack. Investigators are working to determine where the other items may have been purchased. So we know that the Ozark backpack was purchased from Walmart. We know that the clothing the suspect was wearing is available at Walmart, the sheriff has said, but you can also get it at other retailers. So we know that behind the scenes, the FBI continues to work with Walmart to try to track who bought the backpack. And then they just said that there will be no press briefings today. There'll be no press briefings tomorrow unless something happens and through the weekend. So it does feel like things have slowed down a little bit today, at least publicly, but that doesn't mean that behind the scenes, there's not a lot going on. I also today interviewed Border Patrol, the BORTAC unit. They helped with the initial search for Nancy Guthrie. They do a lot of searches here for missing people, and I just thought they would be interesting because they understand the terrain so well. So I wanted you to hear from the two gentlemen who I interviewed there. He searches?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he also do like biting and stuff?
Nope.
Nope. So he's just a search dog?
Yep.
Yeah. So he's friendly then?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
very.
Okay.
He's
Hey,
like a
buddy.
lab trapped
Hey,
in a
okay, I
shepherd's
didn't know.
body.
Sometimes you don't
No,
know.
it's always good to
Yeah,
ask. That's
yeah.
always good practice.
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. What a cute dog. Wow. He's so well behaved. He looks right at you. Like
Yeah.
he's just waiting for your
Yes,
command.
He's a softie.
Yeah. All right, cool.
All right, come on.
How long have you had him?
I've had him for 3 years.
Okay. Hey, buddy. Hey, bud.
Sit.
Hey, buddy.
Sit.
All right, cool. How does it work when you're called out with the dog? Sort of what's the protocol there?
Obviously, every situation's a little unique, a little different. Many times what we like, especially if it's in an urban environment, right? You've got people all over, there's scents all over the place. So our first goal is to search any open ground that maybe hasn't been walked on by other people or searched yet. And if somebody is down or concealed or incapacitated, unable to call out, the dog's fantastic for finding them. The other technique we use is we'll gain a scent article. It could be a pillowcase, it could be a shirt, something that the missing person has worn or slept on, and then we'll present that to the dog. The dog will sniff it, and then we'll give them a search command where they are, trying to find that unique scent.
So when you give him the command, he knows to look for the scent from that article of clothing?
That's correct.
Wow. And how long will he remember it for?
I don't know. It's a hard thing to say for sure. But oftentimes, like I'll carry a baggie and I'll put the scent article in my pocket.
Okay.
Or, so if I feel I need to represent the scent article, I will, and kind of refresh.
So if you're in a desert area, do you keep him on a leash, or how does it sort of work? Is it a grid you do, or how do you go from there?
So we have two main disciplines. The search and rescue aspect. So let's say we have a large search area, like a square mile. And
I don't know if dog trackers do tracker dogs sniff out dumbasses. I think that's a facetious question.
We believe through whatever the evidence is that the person might be concealed or down somewhere within that mile. It's not efficient to work them on a leash. So the dog is trained off leash. He'll kind of run back and forth in range. And when he hits, we call it a scent cone, or he alerts to the scent of someone that he can smell but can't see, he'll trace that odor all the way until he finds them. Once he finds them, he'll return to me and give me what we call an indication, which is a trained behavior. So his particular indication is he'll get right in front of me, he'll cut off my path, and he'll bark at me. And then once he's done that, I'll tell him to show me, and then he'll turn around and just follow that scent right back to the person and lead me to wherever that person is.
How far away can he smell a scent? Do you know? I mean, is it
personal experience, I've had canine smell one individual that was a half mile away.
Wow.
So their ability to sniff and scent is extremely high. Come on.
How do they do
Oops.
with the
Seats.
terrain out here? I mean, it's with all the cactuses and it's so like rugged. And
I don't think it's cactuses. I think it's cacti. Is it It's not cactuses. It's cacti, right? Come on, B-Rye.
there's snakes
Just kidding. I'm just giving him shit. I like it.
and all the rest.
It's cacti.
Speaking of snakes, he's
That's the plural for cactus.
been bitten by a rattlesnake.
Has he really?
It was not a good experience. Yeah, we had to rush him in. Luckily, he was okay. But after patrol or after a track, after a search, we have to go through their paws and their pads and everything with a fine-tooth comb looking for spines and things stuck in the paws. We've had infections and things, get swollen, and so it is a constant maintenance with the dog to maintain their health.
What happened when he got bit by the rattlesnake?
We were searching for a group of individuals, and it was.
I don't think that when Brian just asked what happened when he got bit by the rattlesnake, I think he was wondering maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he was wondering what happened to the dog, not what were the circumstances. Maybe I'm wrong.
Dark, and we entered what we call an odor pool. They'd stopped and rested, and their odor was kind of residual odor hanging in the air. And he's searching around, and I turned around, and he was limping. And I inspected him and saw the wound, and took him back to the truck and made my way to the emergency room.
Do they have to do like anti-venom or is
They
it that kind of thing?
they did not. Dogs are way more resistant to the venom than people are. So it's case by case. So they just monitored him overnight, and luckily he didn't need any antivenom. After a week of rest and the swelling went down, he was able to go back to work.
I think a lot of people just assume you guys are looking for people trying to, get in the country illegally. But how often are you helping with searches like Nancy Guthrie?
I would say county requests us, Pima County, on average twice a month.
Oh, wow.
And then we have different departments like the BLM. There's other counties around the state that'll request our services. But we do regular patrol work as well, where we go out and locate people that don't want to be found.
I believe it's Army.
But the important thing about that is that's what makes us sharp for when it is people that need to be found that are in distress. We're on our A game.
It's like good practice for him, I guess.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Anything else you think is important? The way he does his thing, or?
I mean, it's all important, but it's important that they enjoy the process.
Love dogs.
Yeah.
They're working because they enjoy it. It's not like getting a paycheck. Their paycheck is the reward at the end. But these dogs are special because they do it for the love of the game. They like to find the people, and they're doing what they were genetically engineered to do.
Do they get excited when they find someone?
Oh, absolutely. Tail wags and barking, and they get very excited. And they also know they're going to get a reward in a play session.
Yeah. Is it a treat, or what is the reward?
It's funny. We use different things, but
is there really
rubber hose? Thick rubber hose. They like to
They just want to
play with the hose, or with a jute toy, or different things that they like.
Does something else I thought of, just because it has rained a little bit in the last week. The first 2 weeks we were here, it never rained, and then it started raining. Does that impact them at all with tracing a scent?
It does. If it's fresh, like it is right now, the ground is hydrated. There's more moisture in the ground. There's more moisture in the plants. That creates a better environment for scent production factors. So the dog will be more successful in following odors when the grounds have been wet or recently wet.
So it's actually better that it's rained.
Absolutely.
Yeah, interesting.
And then, but it can be the opposite if you're tracking and then a heavy rain comes through. A little bit of rain will hydrate the odors. A lot of rain will wash them out. So there's kind of a fine line there.
Can he find people who passed away? Is that also what he does, or?
He actually goes to school. We go to school together in April to be a certified cadaver team
Okay.
for the human remains detection.
What?
The ones that we have found have been.
It looks a little big to be Belgium, but I don't know. He looks like a shepherd.
Where we're tracking them, or
I'm no dog. I'm no like expert when it comes to that.
Where they've
He's a good size. So I think that the Belgian ones are a little smaller.
recently passed, and their body composition really hasn't changed. Those he has located.
But he'll learn how to do like bones, I guess. and that
Yes,
kind of thing.
yes,
Yeah.
we do that this year in April.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you
Appreciate
bet.
it very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, buddy. Wow,
like
you're
me,
so
me, me.
friendly. Yeah. Tell me how you guys have helped with the Nancy Guthrie search.
So we received a request from the Pima County Sheriff's Department.
Okay, so they're just border patrol.
For the initial call, I believe it was on February 1st for a search. Specifically, they requested a couple of our canine teams, which we provided, and a small hasty search team as well.
How do you guys go about searching? And I saw the dog, but there's other ways too, I'm guessing.
Yeah, so typically what we like to use is utilize our.
When I go out, like when I do my when I go out for my walks, there's a dog in the neighborhood. His name's Taz. He's German Shepherd, and he's brilliant. But whenever I see him, if I'm trying to walk or run or whatever I'm doing, and if I don't pay attention to him, he like sits down and just stares at me and is like, how could you possibly not pay attention to me? So every time I see him, I have to stop and throw his toy to him because I feel bad if I don't. Because he gets really excited to see me. And I see him almost every day. And I try and make it short because I'm doing stuff. But it's tough.
Our resources and our best assets, which are canines. So we typically have, one or two canine teams come out and help out. We look for foot sign. If we don't have canines available, then we're just relying on our own senses. So we're looking for foot sign or any kind of disturbance that stands out to us.
And when you say foot sign, footprints?
Footprints,
Yeah.
correct.
Okay.
Tracks, footprints. Yeah.
How difficult is the terrain around here?
It's challenging depending on where we're working. I mean, it ranges from just thick brush desert to mountainous, mountainous rugged terrain. So our guys are the Borstar guys are highly trained. They're trained to work in this type of environment, so it's nothing new to them.
How often do you search for missing people?
Pretty often. As far as response typical or similar to what we provided for the Nancy Guthrie case, it's pretty frequent. We have really good working relationships with our other agency partners, local, state, federal. I believe just this year alone, we've had about 8.
All these dogs from the neighborhood, they feel like they're my dogs. I stop and I usually would get my workout in a lot faster, except I end up having to stop and I can't help it, but stop and pet the dogs. It's
requests to provide our search efforts. Yeah.
Wow. Do you do helicopters too ever?
We do. Yeah, absolutely. We do. We have a air operations program. We fly almost on a daily basis with another federal partner agency, Air and Marine Operations. So we fly with them on a regular basis, as well as with some of the local and state. We fly with Arizona DPS Ranger, and then we also fly with Pinal County Sheriff's Office.
No letter.
Really appreciate them for talking.
No letter today.
With me, and it was
his favorite game though. Here, I'll show you really quick. His favorite game is Keep Away. Good old Taz. So cute. It's incredibly sad. Yes, thank you. I look for updates in that case all the time.
It was great to meet those two guys, and the work that they do with searching for people is pretty incredible, and the dog too. So that's
Yes, the Labradoodle, I found out his name was Kobe, and I did see him today. He was he was a little better. He didn't chase me around a light pole.
It's pretty much the latest. Again, it's Thursday. I'll be back at it tomorrow. I'll keep you guys posted if I hear anything else from Mexico.
I guess. Hold on. I want to hear what she has. Oh, but she's playing Brian stuff.
Hey, everyone.
I already watched Brian.
It's not clear as mud, as I like to say. And that's coming in a bit. But Mexico is actually
I'm not going to watch the Mexico bit.
Reacting to this news that suddenly the feds are working with their counterparts in Mexico.
No, I don't. I absolutely, Labradoodle. No, it wasn't a Labradoodle. It was just a big ass black poodle, massive man eating poodle. No, Macho Notice, do not walk with me on my because first of all, I go on really long walks and they're really little. And but I do like a combination, like I start off running and then walk. But Macho doesn't walk well. He grabs the leash and he shakes it. So what I do is I take him to the we have this little cul-de-sac like grass, and I let them run on that for a while. They do that every day.
Mexico, and it seems a bit messy. It's not clear as mud, as I like to say. Also, the sheriff released his regular statement today, and a lot of times it's the same stuff, and today was no different. A lot of the same stuff, still testing the biological matter that's found inside the house. That's the DNA. No results on that. Remember, we got the CODIS answers real quick with the glove that was found a couple miles away. Not so much on this one. Could be a few reasons for that. At one point, he mentioned that there was like a mix and that they had to separate it out. So I get it. There could be some preparatory work that has to be done before that.
Preparatory work. Walk minimum 5 miles a day. 2 of those I run. That's so at the beginning I run, and then because I can't run 5 miles. I wish I could.
At CODIS, sampling, but if there's a partial match, then you're talking about a lot more work because CODIS is only going to give you the full match, right? Here it is. It matches 100%. This is your guy. That's what CODIS will do, the federal offenders database. If there's only a partial match, it means, we don't have your guy, but we think we might have somebody related to him because there's like a little bit, maybe 25% is a match or 50% is a match. And then the gumshoe genealogy work starts, and that can take a long time. So that might be why we're actually delayed on the biological matter. But the sheriff said something today that was different than I had heard before. I'm going to tell you about that in a second. Also, something else that I saw today that I don't think a lot of people have asked about or talked about. And in one of those reporter interviews that, the sheriff rolled all these reporters in for 10 minutes apiece, the BBC asked a question about accomplices. And the answer actually really stands out with regard to whether the authorities think there may have been accomplices to that guy on the Nest cam. I'll play that for you in a minute. So again, hit your subscribe button. It really, really helps, does me a big solid. And, I really appreciate it. Hey, quick note from our sponsor. I want you to do an experiment. Next time you're in your kitchen, just grab one of your boxes of your favorites.
Partial touch DNA. Well, they're border patrol, so I don't know. It takes me about I don't know, a little over maybe an hour.
Cereal, and then read the ingredients: refined sugars, red 40, seed oil, synthetic pesticides. 20 years ago, had to have a passport. Mexico, in you go. Brian didn't even have to show ID. That's how easy the Nogales crossing was. That surprised me. I know it's not the same as America, but I would have expected you'd have to answer a question or two like, hi, hello, what's the duration of your visit? Where are you staying?
Well, we listened to Ashley last night, so.
Nope, nothing. You can walk right in or you can drive right in. And that's what Brian did. Brian was in and out of Mexico all in a half a day and was able to do his reporting. Just a bit astounding. And the reason I bring that up is because if this recent theory that the feds are suggesting they're now working with their counterparts in Mexico, it is easy. It is easy to take a person across the border, especially if they're in the trunk, right? And I know a lot of you probably were thinking, well, that can't be the risk. Why would anybody even risk having someone in their trunk going over a border? You're right if you're coming into the United States. And as if to highlight how right you are, I want to show you a couple of pictures that were taken.
Let me tell you this. So Macho, this is what happens when I try to take him for a walk. I put his harness on him. I put his leash on him. He grabs his leash and shakes it violently. Like violently shakes it. He just shakes it. And then he throws up.
At the U.S.-Mexico border,
and Otis just sits there. Otis just sits there and stares at him like, what in the hell?
Them actually at Nogales, at the crossing. And if you look
Soda on Stars. I got you.
At these pictures, you can see that we have devices at the border that x-ray your vehicle. Literally see right through you. And you can see everything from drugs to people. They actually light up when they see organic matter, like drugs, and they light up when they see people, as you can see from these photos. I couldn't stop staring at these pictures today. Some of them are actually from 2019, so it's not like this is new technology. It's been around for a while, but this just shows you the difference. What our mindset is about coming into the United States and the scrutiny that you would have crossing the border. I mean, talk about sweating bullets if you've got all those drugs and those people in your vehicle, or at least you should be sweating bullets given this technology, right? You just can't, you can't hide in the American side of the crossing. But on the Mexican side, as Brian will attest, you walk right in and you don't even get questioned and you don't even show an ID, let alone a passport. Like, I just can't imagine that. Anyway, it does give rise to how easy it is. And it's not like people haven't been kidnapped before, taken south of the border, and then ransom was requested. And they've caught people. They've caught people in the past doing this. But Brian's purpose of going over the border wasn't just to show how easy it was to go over the border. It was to ask people on the other side, have you heard anything about this case? Like, is it the talk of the town like it is in America? Have you heard any scuttlebutt about anything regarding Nancy Guthrie and her disappearance? This is fascinating. Listen to Brian and his cameraman as they question people in south of the Nogales crossing. Comment to me if you know where that report came from U.S. authorities or from Mexican federal agencies regarding this case. Should an official request be received through the appropriate institutional channels, it will be addressed with full willingness and in accordance with its legal authority and the established cooperation.
Well, Brian got into Mexico. He just walked right through a gate. There was no there was nothing stopping him. Are you trying to get people not to watch my show? I tell a lot of things. Okay, I put my own stuff in here. Come on now. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Mechanisms.
There's some good stuff. I said some good stuff.
So that was the statement. But then there was an interview a little bit later on, and I want to read from the English transcript from the interview. And I got this from News Nation. Okay. So far, we have not received any request in that regard from any U.S. authority nor Mexican federal authority.
God, she looks pissed.
if you had her, and you wouldn't have been able to do it real quick and easy. Monday would be a weird work day, and Sunday you'd have been MIA, right? So were you missing someone in your life? Did somebody act really weird? Has been acting weird ever since, and then just keeps vanishing, keeps I can't show up for work today either, or I got to leave, I got to come back to work, and I'm taking all these breaks. Think about that as a potential tip. I think ratted.
I don't think I can handle Anfield tonight, to be honest with you. She kind of bores me. Plus, I'm tired. All right. So McDonough on the show tomorrow. I think it's just McDonough. I'll have to double check, but yeah, McDonough at 7 p.m. Pacific, which is 10 p.m. Eastern. And we'll have some great questions for him, I'm sure. So come with your questions. And then yeah, I'm exhausted. I don't know why. I do know why, but pew, pew, pew. Really? They only allow 300? Really? Holly's a great mod. We love her here. All right. So let's see. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thanks, guys, for being here. And it is always Macho's fault, Pop. That's true. He's just remember when he ripped down like my entire soundboard? Did anybody remember that night? That sucked. I was so friggin' annoyed when he did that. I should do a GeoGuessr soon. Yeah, I think I'd like to do that. I haven't played that in a long time. Yeah, that would be fun. I think that did we hit a goal? We hit the goal. Goal! Mary's Pop said, aka Zombie Ribcage. This is my one-stop shop for the information. I appreciate you, kid. Yep, I watch it so you don't have to. I'll watch it with you so you don't have to. Hey, Josh, watching from Australia. Enjoyed your show this last week. Thanks, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate when the bushwashers, as B. Tim say, come out and say so. GeoGuess would be fun. Yeah, we'll do that. And all right, well, it is what it is. We have done it before. Have you seen Chris and I have done a couple shows about Jack and Lily before. Telling you, I got a ton of stuff on this channel. I mean, I really do. It's there just hasn't been a lot, to report. So appreciate it. Thank you. Goal. Thank you. Yeah, his goal's different than my goal, though. What does he go for a night? Yeah, and YouTube, I do check my Twitter sometimes. Goal. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. And that's incredible. No shit. $500. That's sick. Whatever. Yeah, well, that's stupid. That's ridiculous. But anyway. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for everything. It's pretty sick shit, to be honest with you. Night. I think it's preloaded. I think. Don't actually. It's part of it. We just preloaded. Lovers gonna love, haters gonna hate. Eric. They're still exploring the Mexico option. You are on it. It's possible. Hope they find us soon. One big doodle. Have a good night.